Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Riding Horses. I'm back out here today with my son Colt. He's riding Miss Purina. I'm going to put the 7th ride here on Che today. But what we're going to do today is we're going to introduce this filly to a little bit more of the idea of steering. So far up to this point, we've steered a little bit, but for the most part I've just been focusing on getting this filly to go somewhere. We've used another horse. We've used our miniature mule Bronson to kind of give her a magnet to follow around out here in the arena. But today I don't have no magnet, and I'm going to spend a little bit more time steering. Now I've had the snaffle bit in her mouth, but I'm going to use it a little bit different today. Excuse me. So it's going to introduce this mare a little bit more to this snaffle bit. Bring her up here a little closer. I'm going to have the camera can zoom in right here on this filly's face. So we've got one of our training halters on her. What I'm going to do today, I've been taking this little side ring on my training halter and running it through the ring on this bit and then hooking my rein just to this little ring on the halter. Well, today I'm going to actually snap this snap onto the ring of the bit with this ring still inside the snap as well. What that's going to do is that's going to let me pick up on this bit a little bit more than before, but I'm only going to be able to pick up on that bit until this nose piece of the halter gets pulled out here as far as it'll go, and then it's going to engage the halter. So it's only going to let this bit move so far before the halter is going to stop it, and then the halter comes back into play. One of the reasons I'm doing that today is I noticed this filly has got some wolf teeth, and I haven't got those wolf teeth removed yet, obviously, or I wouldn't have noticed she had them. So instead of me snapping my reins directly just to the bit, which if she did lean on it, would potentially really pull that mouthpiece up into her mouth and bump those wolf teeth, we're going to leave it rigged up this way. Again, so I got the ring of the bit and this side ring of the halter both inside that snap. You can see how that brings the halter out as well, only allowing that mouthpiece of that bit or the ring of that bit to move so far. So Colt, if you want to sit right there, we've got some poles stood up out here just to give me something to ride around here too. So Colt, I'm gonna ride around these poles for a minute and just kind of show you the idea of what I want to do today. And then if you want to trade me horses, you can crawl up here and do it. All right, so as I introduce a horse to the idea of steering, what I like to do, Colt, and I think this is going to be really beneficial for you today, this being this filly's 6th or 7th ride, we're only going to steer with a direct rein, meaning we're only going to use the left rein to go left, the right rein to go right. We're going to exclude the outside rein, okay? All I'm trying to do today is either steer this filly's nose this way with the left rein or vice versa this way with the right rein. If we're dealing with a horse that's still trying to figure out how to find some forward, once I incorporate my outside supporting rein, if my horse doesn't know how to give to that, then that outside rein could restrict my forward motion. So I'm just gonna look up at these poles, okay? And I can ride from one pole to the other. I don't have to go same side each time. I don't have to go a particular pattern here. This just gives me something to ride around. You've got all these pieces of tape on these reins, okay? So I'm going to be in the center. I'm going to slide down and grab that piece of tape that's short on that left rein, making sure I've got plenty of slack in that outside rein. And then I'll just hold it long enough to get steered towards the next pole I want to go to. We're just going to kind of flow around here, Colt, okay? Now this filly's not really soft yet, so you'll notice when I pick my hands up, I might have to get my hand out here pretty wide to get that filly's nose to follow that rein, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and trot her around here just a minute. I want you to make sure that as you're going from one pull to the next, Colt, that you pick your head up and you're looking towards the pole that you want to ride to, okay? I kind of went at that pole and I kind of let her pick her side. She almost ran smooth into it. I'll set her up on a certain side of this one so I can steer left. She comes down to a walk right here. I want to show you something. This is why we're only going to use rein at a time today. From the standstill, if I slide my hands down here short, Colt, and I'm going to ask this filly to just step back to me. See where her nose goes? See how she's kind of pushing and leaning on that bit right there?
Yeah.
Now I'm holding that just long enough to get her to take a step back. But see, we haven't got this filly very soft yet in these reins. So when I go to use both of them, there's going to be a lot of resistance show up that if I'm just trotting around these poles, just using one rein at a time, you don't see that resistance, do you? It's not that I couldn't pick up on her like that, but I haven't even done that much on the ground yet. We've done pretty much no groundwork with this filly like we typically do with most of our horses. We've saddled her and we've turned her loose in this arena and moved her around and tracked her around a little bit, and then I just get on and go to riding, swinging my rope, tracking the mule. So she's really not that accustomed yet to exactly what. You think you got the idea? All right, I need you to pull your spurs off your boots. Can you pick your foot up? Even if you gotta lay it across, Colt, you can pick it up here and lay it across her neck there. Take those spurs off. You can pull them together. Time somewhere there on your saddle. I'm going to trot her around these poles a couple more times. Shorten your stirrups for you. One thing I noticed, guys, as we're traveling around from clinic to clinic, a lot of people don't understand exactly how to use their bridle, their reins, and they don't have their horse in a frame of mind yet to really respond to them. They haven't taught those horses how to turn loose of that brace. And what I want Colt to experience today, again, this filly having 6-7 rides, she's pretty green. She's not very soft in her hands. It doesn't look too bad here to walk. It doesn't even look that bad at a trot, but it feels a lot different than what it looks like. And for Colt to set on something this green and have the chance to go steer her around a little bit, he's used to setting on something that's got more feel like Miss Purina. So this is going to be new to him, but the only way he's ever going to learn how to take a horse like this and build it into a horse like Miss Purina, he's going to have to sit on some horses like this. See, right there at a walk as I come around, she was really leaning on me where the old nose was stretching out. I could feel her weight fall in that direction. Again, even though I'm aware this filly's got wolf teeth, having these reins rigged up with this snaffle and this halter the way they are, I can still introduce this filly a little bit more to the idea of following a feel and what it looks like to steer or to follow my steering through these reins without lifting that bit up into this filly's teeth, that wolf tooth, excuse me, that's sitting right in front of that first molar. Little bitty tooth with a big root. It's pretty sensitive. Yes, sir.
Do you ask her to slow down to walk right there? Or she just...
All I got to really do is slow my rhythm.
Okay.
Okay? When you want her to slow down, you can just slow your rhythm and let her come back to you.
Alright, did you slow your rhythm right there? Like, did you want her to slow down?
Yeah, as I come around this last pole, I was just going to end up somewhere right here and let her slow down.
Okay.
Okay? I didn't have to pull on her to slow her down if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
All right, if you want to crawl off Miss Purina. So this will be, what, Colt? This will be the second time you've ridden this filly?
Yes.
In 7 rides, you've been on her twice. Hold this. Come up here. Hold this rein for me. I'm going to fix your other stirrup over here. Let me share this with you guys that might be watching this. This horse is really green, but green horses don't always mean they're dangerous, okay? Green horses just mean they don't know much. They don't have much time logged in the saddle. What I'm thinking about when I'm contemplating putting my son on a green horse, all I'm really focused on is that horse being quiet and relaxed. You're not going to carry this, okay? I'll show you what you can do. Okay. Now, when you walked up to this filly just a second ago, you were standing right back here by the back cinch. I want you to think about something. Our viewers can be reminded of this as well. If I'm standing from the stirrup back, anywhere back in here, I'm standing in a spot where it'd be really easy for that horse to kick me, okay? On your younger, greener horses, your horses that haven't been handled a lot, Colt, I want you to get in the habit of standing up here closer to your stirrup. Now, I want you to think about this. When you go to climb off this filly, okay, don't climb off and just land right here, okay? I'm going to try to land up here a little bit closer than just coming down right here. I'm going to have the nose tipped to me when I do it, okay? All right, bring your nose around here a little bit. There you go. Give me this foot again. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Go ahead and give me this glove. Your hands are probably chilly,
Very.
but I need you to focus here. Now, go ahead and slide down and tip her nose this way. Now remember, once you get moving, when you slide down that rein, you might have to come out here wide before you can come back to your body, okay? It's a little bit different than it is on Miss Purina, okay? Now, you're gonna squeeze a little bit with your legs, bring some life up, look at one of those poles.
Okay.
And you're just gonna point her towards the pole that you want to ride around. Just walk for a minute. You're fine. Steer over here. You got to get way short on those reins, young man. Hey, only when you want to turn. I don't want you short on both reins. Okay? I had one hand in the center, and when I was turning left, I'd slide down and get short on that left rein. I wasn't short on both reins. This filly is nowhere near ready for that. Okay? So point her to one of these poles kind of like that, and then when you get to that pole, you might even have to get shorter than this closest piece of tape to the bit, okay? You might have to get really short. slide down and just see if you can get some bend as you go around the pole. Okay? Just walk for a minute so you get the idea of what you're after here. This is what it's like to sit on one, guys, that's really green, that doesn't have a lot of forward, sure doesn't have any idea of how to, for the rider to point them somewhere, and they just flow off that direction until he steers them somewhere else. So this is a great opportunity for Colt to kind of feel what it feels like when there's not much steering. In fact, this is this filly's first big day with us doing much steering at all. Come to this pole, go around this pole to your right. It's a lot different feel on her than it is Miss Purina, huh?
Yes.
Now go to that pole and go to that pole to your left. Colt, you gotta have your hands where you can move your hands around. You can't just leave them in two places and be moving your hand like this. You've got to be where you can get shorter on your reins. Now point her towards one of those and leave her alone as she's going to it. So I was on her first, and she had a lot more fluid forward motion with me on her, guys. Keep going, Colt. Just go around a pole and pick you another pole and go to it. Now that Colt's on, he's never sat on a horse and steered him around that was this green. So for him to have the idea of how to bring his energy up, how to focus somewhere, and how to steer like I'm trying to get him to here, you should have seen and got really short on that right rein right there to come around that pole. When you get to that pole down there, you can go whatever direction you want, but as you come around it, I want you to slide that hand down, young man, and get short on that rein. Bring her nose around that pole. There you go. Now hold it just long enough to get pointed to whatever pole you want to go to next. There you go. So your hands are constantly moving. When you want to steer a little bit, your hands are moving on those reins to a different spot. Slide down and get short. There you go. Having the pool set up out here, guys, is something great for Colt, just to give him something to focus on so he has an idea of where he wants to go. So if he's looking at that pole right there, as he's leaving that pole, he can pick his eyes up and look to the pole he wants to go to next and see if he can get that Colt to kind of flow with his energy. So he's setting this up to go right. So you're going to wait till you get to the pole and then slide down really short. Okay? You're picking your rein up right in here close to that neck. You're probably going to have to get out wider, young man. You're used to riding this gray mare right here, and she's a long ways from where that filly is. There you go. Then you got to switch. You got to be ready to change hands, don't you? Nice job right there. Now he's kind of getting things figured out here, guys. My goal with Colt is to introduce him to the idea of how do I take a horse like that at that stage and turn it into a horse like this at this stage. The only way he's ever going to learn how to direct a horse at that stage is he's going to have to sit on one at that stage. My goal is to make sure whatever horse I put him on has that frame of mind, even as green as she is with 7 rides. where I can put him up there and I don't have to worry about him getting bucked off. She's not scared of anything he's doing. There you go. Now, ride that horse until you get past the pole and then slide your hand down, okay? Set her up. Wait till the shoulder is past the pole and then slide your hand down. There you go. Now slide your hand down. So if you slide your hand down, you start leaning and slide your hand down and you're starting to pick that rein up before you get to the pole, you'll end up crowding the pole because you steered her into it. Nice job right there, bud. Very nice. You guys can see as he's going around here, when he comes around the pole, if the pole's on his left, he's only trying to make contact with that direct rein, which if he's turning left would be his left rein. Here it's going to be his right rein. So there's slack in the left rein. As he tips her nose, go right on past me. Go to that pole over there. Look at the pole. Don't look at your horse's ears. You got to look where you want to ride to, young man. You getting the feel of it? Nice job there. Mino's missing old Bronson, isn't he? Well, we'll get old Bronson out here in a minute and you can track him around and rope him some off Miss Purina. Out. There you go. There you go. Good job, bud. Yeah, she's going to want to stop and rest right here. So your goal is to just get right on towards the next pole. What happened there? What happened there? It's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go ahead and let her rest right here. Set your hands down, just quit riding.
I thought that I could just take this rein over like that at first.
Yeah, so at one time, that horse felt just like this one.
Yeah.
What you're doing on her when you're setting up your lead departures and lead changes and that kind of stuff that you can do with one rein, we're using one rein on this horse, but it's a completely different manner, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you think about how this horse feels for you today, how that horse felt for you before you crawled off of her. A huge transformation to get from this stage to that stage, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay, so as I go along with this filly, now that we've got her in this frame of mind, I'm going to try to put you on this filly at least once a week so you can feel her at that stage she's at that week all along the way, because you'll feel that horse will just take steps to get to this. It's not from this right to that. There's a whole bunch of steps in between. Mm-hmm. And the only way you're ever going to have an understanding of how to direct a horse at each step is you're going to have to sit on a horse at that particular step, okay?
Okay.
So we're out here, I'm introducing Colt to this idea of steering a horse that's this green, but our goal today was really to introduce Che to this idea of following our direction more, where we're actually trying to steer a little bit more, turning a little bit more, using our reins a whole lot more than what we have up to this point. And I think she did a fantastic job. Again, this filly's got wolf teeth, so we rigged up our reins in conjunction with our training halter on this bit, so we weren't just going off the bit, which will allow us to introduce her to this bit, give her the idea of how it's going to work, we'll leave our reins hooked to this halter until we get those wolf teeth removed. Once we get the wolf teeth removed, Colt, then we'll snap our reins directly towards the snaffle and go from there, okay?
Okay.
So when you guys are riding young horses, a horse that's this green, I'll even look at horses and say maybe they've had a bunch of rides, but they're really stiff. They're really braced. They're not very soft. I'm probably going to be riding them just like Colt was riding this filly. And it's left rein to go left, right rein to go right. And there's not much feel to it. I'm trying to build some feel in my horse along the way. No legs. She has no idea what those legs mean.
Yeah.
Okay? Rest there. The only thing she knows about what you were trying to do right there with your legs is she's thinking, okay, when I feel him do something with his legs, it's forward.
Yeah.
This horse is nowhere near that stage either, okay? So that's just one more spot where she's going to help you understand. They don't all ride like that one, okay? But we're going to build this one into that or even something better. So I hope this is something you guys can use. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time on Riding Horses. Great job, Colt. Great job, Che.